You're listening to Fusion Patrol, a listener-supported podcast. Each week, we take a single episode of a science fiction TV series, movie, or audio and overanalyze it to within an inch of its life. Welcome to the discussion. Hello and welcome to another episode of Fusion Patrol. I'm Eugene.
And I am Kenneth.
And tonight we are looking at episode 9 of season 1 of The Invaders. Say it with me, a Quinn Martin production.
In color.
The episode in color. Quantity unknown. Prologue. A mysterious light plane with no registration nor flight plan crashes. It is a catastrophic crash, but there are no bodies. The only thing of interest is a small, incredibly light, thermos-sized metal cylinder. It is sent to Sperrick Laboratories for analysis. On the way, invaders hijack the van. A gunfight ensues, with several casualties, including one invader, while the second gets away. The glowing death is seen and reported by one of the dying guards. Act 1. The newspaper reports draw David Vincent to the scene. Harry Swain, a security guard at Sperrick Labs and a friend of the deceased security guard, immediately notices him and eyes him with suspicion. Vincent goes to see Mr. Richards, who runs the lab. He expresses his concerns about the cylinder and posits a scenario where a group of people will stop at nothing to get it back. He convinces Richards to set a trap by pretending to send the cylinder to another lab, expecting the invaders to intercept it. The invaders are prepared to take the fake cylinder when they receive a last-minute tip that it is fake. They abort their plans, leaving Vincent with egg on his face. Things look even worse when the police, who weren't in favor of the plan in the first place, run a check on Vincent and find out he's on a wacko crusade against aliens from another world. Richards sends him away. As he leaves, Harry Swain waylays Vincent and takes him captive at gunpoint. Act 2. Harry is convinced that Vincent is an invader and knows all the essential details about them. Vincent overpowers Harry and then convinces him that he is not an invader. The invaders killed Harry's wife and child, and Harry is on the same crusade as Vincent. They agree to meet later and exchange information. That evening, Diane Oberly, the lead scientist at Sperrick Labs, comes to visit Vincent. She's scared. So far, the cylinder's material resembles nothing on Earth, and she feels she's being watched. Harry calls and interrupts them. He's been attacked and nearly killed by the invaders. Vincent leaves to meet with him and asks Diane to return to the lab and run as many tests as possible on the cylinder. She agrees. When the two men meet, it becomes clear that the invaders plan to take that cylinder back soon, possibly even that night. They hatch a plan. Harry will get Vincent into the lab, and together they will steal the cylinder. Harry has a contact in military intelligence to whom they can take the cylinder for a full investigation. As they leave, we can see that the invader from the failed hijacking has been watching them. Act 3. They break into the lab. Harry is clearly a lot more desperate and ruthless than Vincent. Vincent finds Diane working on the cylinder. There's still no progress in opening it. Even the laser cutter fails to mark it. Vincent reveals that he's there to take the cylinder before the invaders can. She pleads with him not to, but things come to a head when Richards arrives. Harry shoots him. Then a gun battle ensues between Harry and the other security guards. The lab catches fire, and Harry is trapped behind a wall of flames. Unseen, Vincent gets out with the cylinder. Act 4. Vincent takes the cylinder to the military intelligence contact, Colonel Griffith. Vincent has read in the papers about Harry's death and the fact that no body was found. This has made him suspicious, and rightly so, for Colonel Griffith is the invader we've known about since the hijacking. Harry walks in, not dead. With Griffith's hands on the box containing the cylinder, it's time to gloat a bit at Vincent's expense. When he showed up, they rearranged all their plans to involve him in the heist to retrieve the cylinder. The cylinder is very important to them, as it contains instructions from their home planet on how to take over the Earth. Fortunately, Vincent isn't as dumb as he acts, and he's hidden the cylinder. He draws a gun and shoots Griffith. But, proving that maybe he is as dumb as he acts, he doesn't turn around and shoot Harry. Instead, they fight, and Vincent escapes the room. He retrieves a cylinder from a nearby shrubbery with Harry in hot pursuit. Harry chases Vincent to the top of an ornamental waterfall, and after a scuffle, Harry falls. As his body begins to burn up, he grabs the cylinder, destroying it as he dies. Epilogue. Vincent calls Diane to thank her for keeping his name out of the police reports about the heist. Keeping his distance, Vincent hangs up on her, knowing that if he has friends, the invaders will use them against him. All right. Quantity Unknown. What do you think of Quantity Unknown?
So far, it is the episode I enjoyed watching the most.
I would say it's probably, yeah. This one and the last one both have been finally sort of hitting their stride. This one, there's a couple problems in it, but yeah, it's a good solid story. It's a good introduction to the show.
Yes. And the first time through, I was guessing about who may be a merely desperate human and who may be an invader pretending to be a desperate human being, or who may be an invader pretending to be a not desperate human being. It was always a good guess, right up until the end.
Yeah, it was. I think, I don't know. The thing is about Harry, you can kind of see that if Vincent has been on this quest for a few more years, or if Vincent had lost, people who are even closer to him than just his partner, in the architecture business. And not to say that it wasn't his good friend, but if he'd lost his wife and his child,
Right.
you could see him going down a darker path like Harry appears to be. And they even have that conversation where Harry says, well, if she gets hurt, I mean, what's one person against all the millions that we'll save? And Vincent starts with the correct position. We cannot become as bad as they are. And then finally, yeah, right, you're right. We have to risk it, kind of thing. I don't know if that lesson would be better learned if Harry was actually a human.
It's a
Does
valid.
that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. However, that position is what makes this such a good red herring.
Yeah. And there's a scene where Diane gives Vincent all the information that he needs to know that Harry is the alien. She says he only arrived 3 months ago. He doesn't talk to anybody until we got the cylinder, and then he's like all over. And now suddenly he's Mr. Chatty, and then all he cares about is the cylinder, the cylinder, the cylinder. And red flag should be going off there, but Vincent now knows that he's obsessed, like he is, and Vincent can see that. He's like, I don't make personal friends. I'm standoffish, and he is. Right? He's extremely standoffish. We've mentioned that before.
He's also gotten a man killed.
Yeah. So he can see that as being justified and go, okay, yeah, I can write that off as being the obsession with fighting the aliens. But at the same time, he should have also seen that as being, wait a minute, that's the exact pattern of everybody else. They moved into the town and bought it 3 months ago. He just became our sheriff 3 months ago. This is my new employee I just hired 3 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, very good red herring on it. So I can't fault them for that. It's just, a couple of, the other thing that they do really well, and I don't know that it's not as meaningful now as it would have been then, but Colonel Griffith, right? That's Hamilton Berger from Perry Mason.
Yes, it is. It's the actor William Talman.
William Talman.
Talman, this is his last television role.
Is it really? Okay.
Really?
Well, one thing about William Talman that I will give the man credit for, he's had some interesting ups and downs over the years. That his worst down was, of course, dying of lung cancer.
Yes.
He is, I think he may have been the first celebrity to record a, hey, smoking killed me.
He was.
Don't release this. Yul Brynner famously did the same thing, but William Talman was, I think, the first. that did that and had that released posthumously to try to stop somebody from smoking.
You are correct.
So he also rather famously got fired from Perry Mason after a police raid at a party where there was an orgy and drugs, and he was never convicted of it. And Raymond Burr went out on the wire for him and forced them to rehire him after all the charges were dropped. But he was gone from the series for like a year while they, basically they fired him on his morality clause.
Yes. And that
which they used to have back in those days.
That did hurt his reputation and in his career.
Yeah. But gone off my train of thought. But the point is that he was a very recognizable character. And so you could be completely forgiven knowing that he's an invader, that he's the main invader, and that this is the guy that we're working against. They salt him through the episode regularly.
Yes.
But they also make it obvious that at some point he got a tip-off from somebody on the inside.
Yes. And when I was watching the episode the second time, I was looking for hints. And I figured out it was probably Swain, because he was right there at the laboratory. He was in on the delivery of the second cylinder, so he knew. He would have just sent the message on. It makes perfect sense.
But it could have been Diane, because she was at the lab. Yeah.
Yes.
But there's also the scene where Diane comes out and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this cylinder had been sent to you. I just found it sitting on the desk."
I did notice that odd dialogue.
It's like, what is that supposed to mean? Were the invaders outsmarted us and swapped it for the real ones so that we are shipping the real ones so that they can send out? Yeah, I don't know. But it casts suspicion. It means like something screwy is going on in the lab. Maybe it means that whoever was meant to, maybe it meant whoever took it. So maybe it was Harry. He was going to take it out to the car, checked it, realized it wasn't the real thing.
Right.
I don't know, set it down. Then she found it. And, this should have been sent out to the thing. I don't know. I thought Harry was the driver that took them out.
He was.
How did he call?
Well, at some point.
How did he call Berger at that point? And I'm going to call him Berger, whether he's like, how did he let the DA know?
The Colonel Griffith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's a good question.
See, that's a problem with this episode. And the other problem with this episode is, who is it that the dying guard told about the glowing invader?
He told Swain.
Yeah. Why would Swain tell that to the news? Why wouldn't he just leave that part out?
Good question.
Because that's what brought Vincent.
Or maybe
one of the things. Somebody else heard it, or maybe the guy lived.
Someone else heard, or he lived long enough to tell somebody. But again, the episode doesn't tell us that.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Colonel, while we're talking about the Colonel, it occurs to me it takes more than 3 months to become a colonel.
Yes, unless I thought about that. I did, because we've had this question over and over again. Can they take over another person somehow? And again, we've not seen any proof of that. But there's another thing you could do. If you could get into the records department, you could create a fake colonel.
True.
And transfer him to a new base, and they'd never know.
It's true.
So once again, they've left that open for I don't know. But yes, it did seem to me like he was legitimately a colonel. But on the other hand, that building didn't exactly look like a military base either.
No, well, we could do with that is, and how did David get a civilian get on the grounds of a military base? Because a military base has gates and it has guards.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it. It felt more like that was an office complex that the military had set up offices in. And I mean, that's not impossible, but it's also a red flag.
It is. Yeah. And as I watched the episode the second time around, I wondered, when did Vincent first become suspicious?
My thought is that he became suspicious when he read there was no body.
That would do it.
I think that's a big red flag at this point for, there's a big fire, Harry's dead, but we couldn't find his body. Whoops. But I don't know. He should have been suspicious earlier, but arguably he may still not have been convinced that Harry was an invader because he didn't shoot him. This annoys the heck out of me. He had no compunction about shooting the colonel.
But not Harry.
Did he?
Because, no, he didn't.
Okay, I'm not an advocate of murdering even an invading alien from another planet. So let me just say that, this is not something that I would say go out and do. But at the same time, in the context of the story, if you're going to murder somebody, an alien that's body will completely disappear in seconds is a really good way to get rid of the aliens.
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence. We talked about this definitely in one other episode, but he shoots the colonel. Maybe the colonel was going for a gun, to comply with television ethics of what the good guy can do. But the other guy was trying to jump him. So just spin around, shoot Harry, and walk out of the room. And if somebody says, I heard a gunshot, I was like, yeah, I heard that too, but no bodies, huh? Unless, of course, the whole building is populated by aliens. But, it's just a little convenient that, if he'd shot him, then he wouldn't have had to worry when he was running out to get the cylinder, which was very stupid of him to pull the cylinder out if he thought Harry was chasing him.
Yes.
So that was dumb.
Yes.
All I have to say is dumb. But, okay. We could have had an exciting tumble off of a waterfall if it did it. Which, what did they say? Did they say it was supposed to be Baton Rouge?
Yes. New Orleans.
Yeah, that was not Baton Rouge.
No, yeah, it was not. It was not Louisiana. And the beginning,
like California.
Yes, and it's amazing how much Ohio looks like Southern California too.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I've only seen Ohio in the winter. It didn't look like California then, but anyhow, yeah, I get the feeling. Yeah,
the last big action scene has an actual filming location. I looked up. It's right along a freeway in the middle of Los Angeles.
That's what it looked like when they got the shots over the city. Yeah.
And it's one block removed from the Catholic cathedral. So it's not exactly isolated. And it's the Fort Moore Pioneer Memorial.
Okay.
And between my viewings, I brought up the episode, Act 4 of the episode, on disc. And on my computer, I pulled up Google Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I froze frames on the DVD, and I pulled up and I studied Google Earth along with Street View. And that waterfall is part of the memorial, and that was the site of a military fort once upon a time. And the building that David Vincent, and the building where the colonel had his office existed until 2003. It's gone now. And for a long time, that block was the headquarters of the school district. And it's now the location of a performing and dramatic arts high school.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a school district office more than it did a military base. I will say that. It's fascinating. Okay, I'll use the word fascinating. Other people may not find it so, but I have the last 3 weeks I've been watching the Rockford Files, which has a ton of location footage in Los Angeles. I mean, it's practically 70% of the episode is shot in practical locations. And it's quite fun to watch Rockford drive down a street and write down the names of the businesses and see if any of them still exist. And you can find maybe 1 in 10. And sure enough, that's the street. In a way, it looks nothing like it because half of it will be torn down and the other, the side of the street where that business still looks fine, but if you turn around, the other side has been completely redone and modified. Time. Rockford is early 70s, so just like this, late 60s, a lot has changed in Los Angeles
Oh,
since then.
yes.
But it's amazing what stands and what doesn't stand over these. Phoenix, you get 5-10 years and knock it down. We don't have anything. So you said it's a pioneer memorial. Now, if you're in Arizona, all pioneer memorials, as far as I know, are for Mormons.
This one is too.
Is it? Okay. They love that word for their pilgrims or whatever they.
This
I
one,
guess they call them the pioneers.
this is a memorial that goes back to the Mexican War time. Although the memorial itself is from 1957 or so, but
I was going to say that waterfall looked a bit newer than that,
yes,
but yeah.
but the fort was from the 1840s.
Cool beans. Yeah, it was a good, a little contrived that Vincent decided to run up the stairs and wear himself out, but
Yeah.
We did hear Harry scream as if he was terrified and in pain as he was
thinking
going over the thing.
another emotional invader.
Well, okay. Talk about emotional. Oh, Mr. Vincent, you should feel flattered. We changed all our plans just to screw with you.
Yeah.
They could have just gone ahead with their plans, but instead they're like, wouldn't it be funny if we made Vincent do it for us? That's emotion. Don't tell me that isn't emotion.
It is.
Couldn't possibly not be. And then, clearly they're going to kill him now. So apparently, if they can just get one good practical joke over on Vincent, then it's okay to kill him. Whereas the rest of the time, it's like, don't kill him. It'll get people suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this cylinder, some sort of data technology that we don't understand, contains the plans for them to take over the planet. Does that mean, and I think we can actually make an affirmative statement that this may be true, that prior to this, the invaders have been working without a plan?
I wondered about that. And why would they not just all know what the plan is? I mean, why wasn't there just a briefing before they left home?
Or why go to the... Why do it this way? Why send it in a cylinder that wherever it arrives, you then put it on a plane, which apparently you didn't check for mechanical failures.
Right.
And fly it somewhere to get... It's like it really kind of doesn't make any sense unless the plans are top secret, only for the High Gorgon himself.
Could be.
But in which case, he's going to have to tell him eventually. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I think I would have liked it if it had been something else important to them. But I don't know what.
Yeah,
this is just our invasion plans. Great. I just, by the way, you guys have been thrashing around kind of willy-nilly doing this, doing that. I have kind of suspected you haven't got a plan. You're really good at executing this stuff, but you haven't got a plan to execute for. Anyway.
You may have a point there. But speaking of that story, I did look up the writer and story by credits.
Okay.
The writer is Don Brinkley, who wrote 3 other episodes of this series. We haven't come to them yet.
Oh, that's good. At least we got something to look forward to.
And he wrote for a number of series and then went on to create Trapper John MD.
Oh. Trapper John MD, I know a lot of people like that show. I always felt that was a miss. I mean, I don't like doctor shows anyway. MASH is all right. But I think I feel betrayed by Trapper John MD. Right? That's Trapper John in name only. I have this idea for an ordinary doctor show. And how do we get people to watch it? I know. we'll pretend like he's a guy from a TV series that they loved
Actually,
years ago.
that's a common misunderstanding, and it's a perfectly understandable one. Trapper John MD is a direct sequel to the movie, not the series. MASH.
Either way.
Either way, but it's just another hospital show that still had 7 seasons. And the story by credit is to Mr. Clyde Ware, Ware, who wrote for a number of different series from 1961 to 1990. And the most notorious credit of them all
I've heard his name somewhere before, so hit me with it.
Is to a movie called Catalina Caper, which got the Mystery Science Theater 3000 treatment in its second season on cable television.
In Mystery Science Theater's second season.
Yes.
Okay, not the show you were talking about. It's like surely that's a movie. Yeah,
it's a movie. Yes.
Okay. So wow, it's so bad that they made it a series with 2 seasons. Okay.
Catalina Caper is a combination of an espionage thriller and a 1960s beach movie.
It sounds like a winner.
And it has rock stars in it.
Which ones?
Little Richard, for one.
What year was this made?
Night was 1967.
Oh, quite a while back. Okay. Even before this. Okay.
Probably about the time of this episode.
Yeah. Roughly in that era. I was thinking it was this sounds something like late 70s kind of plot, but no. Okay. All right. And I was going to say Little Richard. Wow. Who heard of him late 70s? Let's see. Do you have anything else? I don't. I mean, it's a good episode. I really like the fact that Vincent is so willing to accept, right? Someone else has had this experience. Someone else I can empathize. I mean, that is truly the core human emotion, isn't it?
It is.
That we all have. You want to feel like other people have had the experience that that you and they have something that, especially when you feel like you're in it all alone, right? That is such a powerful feeling that, oh, I'm not alone. Someone else has had this too. And Vincent falls for it hook, line, and sinker. And I feel bad for him. I really feel bad for him. But, he has been a man without empathy throughout the entire series so far. So
it's true.
I guess that will burn him, and he won't do that again.
Well, we'll see. I do have some exercises in pedantry.
Well, we all need to exercise our pedantry bones occasionally.
Yeah. Like, why was there a California flag flying in Ohio? That sort of thing.
Sister Cities program.
Okay.
Sister States program in this case. Ohio and California are sister states. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And the really big one. Swain was in the water. He was turning red. He was about to cease to exist.
Oh, yeah.
And he reached through the metal bars of that fence to grab the cylinder, and he burned up the cylinder, but he did no damage to the bars in the fence.
Or to the water.
And in every other time we have seen an invader go red and cease to exist, have we seen, other than black marks, have we seen any damage to property?
No. I mean, their clothes burn up, and I think anything they're holding has burned up in the past. Guns, discs, whatever. But yeah, no, we haven't. And I don't think we've seen. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Yes, we have. Didn't in the episode where they were trying to regenerate the professor in the water tank. Didn't killing one of the aliens start a fire
It did.
in the lab? So, I mean, there is some exothermic reaction there. But it's inconsistent. You would think, shoot them in their car. Like the time the two guys were killed in the car, just
the previous
time,
episode.
yeah. Would the upholstery catch on fire?
We
of the
never,
vehicle?
we would think, but we never saw that.
Yeah. So, it's a convenient way to get rid of the body. Another reason why I think Vincent should just shoot him.
Yes, it should. Nobody has to know. No evidence.
No evidence. I mean, sure, there's that burn spot that looks like a guy on the ground, but how could I have done that? Huh? I mean, that's a graffiti artist or something. Yeah, it's. And I think the other thing to that is that I don't think we've ever seen an alien die that slowly.
No, it's been.
He was
faster.
glowing, and he knew. Usually, they barely hit the ground. They're burning up on the way to the ground, and then gone. So, did the fall kill him? I guess.
It's
Are they allergic to water?
Did the water delay the reaction?
Oh, it kept him cool, maybe.
Yeah, I don't. But then I would have seen steam rising or something, I would think. But
yeah. It's all right. It's all right. I'll cut him some slack. If they remake that episode in this century, then I expect there to be steam. I expect there to be a proper consideration of how much heat is released. Because I want a scientist to say, the only way they could have burned that cement is if it had been 700 degrees Celsius, or something. And then from that point on, then we can work out, should it have melted the bar? Should it have burned the car? Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
When they remake this series, that's a must.
But other than that, I only have the title for the next episode.
Which is?
The Innocent.
The Innocent. All right. Well, in that case, I wonder if the innocent really are innocent.
I'm guessing
wonder if the
not.
Innocent are invaders, or perhaps it's one of those things like, who gets hurt in war? It's the innocent. Yeah.
What I do know for sure is that it is one of 2 episodes on the DVD set to have a commentary track. So I'll listen to it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I guess I might. Is it David Roy Finnis?
I haven't gotten that far.
All right. Well, Kenneth, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Listeners, I do hope you'll join us all again next time on Fusion Patrol. This has been Fusion Patrol. Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, we hope you'll consider supporting us at buymeacoffee.com/fusionpatrol or patreon.com/fusionpatrol. For our Patreon subscribers, we're currently running a special series on Babylon 5. Come join the conversation and find other content at fusionpatrol.com. You can contact us on social media where our Fediverse address is @podcast@fusionpatrol.com or by email at feedback@fusionpatrol.com. Fight the Future by Amberwolf is our theme music. You can find more from Amberwolf at bandcamp.com. This has been a Lone Locust production.